So in sections 3 and 4, we're going to be talking about the ontic and ontological priorities for the question of being. Now, one of those is a perfectly cromulent word, but one of them is more or less made up by Heidegger. Ontic. So let's start with ontological. So in these two sections, Heidegger is basically going to try to work out why it is that this question matters. You know, it's probably something we should do at some point. So the word ontology refers to the study of being, as it means in Greek. And generally speaking, the way that I explain it is it's, you know, like what are the fundamental building blocks of reality? That's what 99% of people mean when they talk about ontology. That's not necessarily what Heidegger's going to mean by it, though. To understand what he means...
Now put it in a big bowl.
Put it in 2 bills? To understand what he means by...
But they have to be bigger.
They have to be bigger? Okay. To understand what he means by...
That's a pinky, Daddy.
To understand what...
No pink for me.
To understand what he means by ontology, it's going to be helpful to distinguish between what I'm called general and fundamental ontology. And that's what I'll finish up this video with, and then I'll get into how he's going to use it to talk about the question of being more and crisis in the next video. So in phenomenology, which is a discipline of philosophy that Heidegger was most directly coming out of, we'll sometimes distinguish between regional ontologies. These are sort of the way that we understand specific, like the way that we sort of understand a specific set of scientific questions. And then fundamental or general ontology, which would be the study of being broadly. So for example, in physics, the primary kinds of things that you're concerned with are motion. That's the timer?
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah, it is.
And then I do it.
Yep. The primary things that you're concerned with are things like motion and the movement of particles that have sort of been idealized, but that can mathematically represent the movement of bodies. In chemistry, you're concerned with subatomic particles and bonds and what have you. I know that real physicists and chemists are going to come at me and say better, which is fine. The point is the ontology gets more and more clarified over time. But that's generally what we're going to mean by regional ontology. Fundamental ontology on this model could just be the most, again, the broadest of all these horizons. In the next video, I'm going to talk some about the project of reductionism, which might look like that. But even so, again, we're going to find that this is not going to be the direction Heidegger is going to go. Remember in the last video, I talked about moving from origin myths to discussions of relationships and conflicts. And as we're going to see, one thing that Heidegger is going to be saying here is rather than doing an ontology that's based on a story about very simple things, when you start to explain these things in more complex ways, a mature science or a mature set of knowledge will be one that can come into its own crisis. And so we're going to talk about general ontology not in terms of the most broad set of regional ontologies, but what happens when within a particular discipline there's a crisis with respect to the basic terms.